The 2023 Elite 11 finals have wrapped after 3 days of drills and competitions amongst the best quarterbacks in the 2024 class. Now is a great time to talk with On3 Director of Scouting and Rankings, Charles Power. Charles, before we get into why Alabama QB Julian Sayin won the overall Elite 11 MVP, I want you to give me one name that maybe coming into the event you weren't expecting that surprised you with how they performed at the Elite 11.
Yeah, I think it has to be the Penn State commit, Ethan Grunkemeyer. Really, from the first day, he caught our eye with how the ball was coming off of his hand. I think he had one of the strongest arms in attendance. He could generate velocity really to every level of the field. A very natural, fluid athlete in throwing motion. So he was one that I think he had a strong first day. He was our On3 MVP the first day. Had a good second day and a pretty solid showing in 7-on-7. Made some high-level throws out there.
Yeah, Charles, Luke Kromenhoek was your sleeper coming into the event. How do you think he fared after watching him at the Elite 11?
Luke Kromenhoek finished number 4 for us, and he really got better in day 3, had a phenomenal 7-on-7 showing. If I was going to pick a guy at this event who looks like the most translatable upside, like the NFL type of arm, size, movement skills, Luke Kromenhoek would be my guy. Like I think I came away from this feeling really bullish on his developmental upside. He's a guy who needs to continue to play. He was a first-year varsity starter as a junior, but I think he's a guy who is going to continue to get better and better the more experience he gets on Friday nights.
All right, let's talk about the Elite 11 MVP, Alabama commitment, Julian Sayin. Charles, what did he do to prove that he was the top overall QB at the event?
Yeah, Josh, I remember when you asked me who the favorite was coming in to win this, I said Julian Sayin, and it played out relatively close to how we expected. He's just so refined, so polished, extremely comfortable in this setting. I think this is a setting that plays to his strengths as a pure passer, a guy who has a very good rhythm with his feet in upper body. Like when they went to the pro day, everything with him was on time. There's just very little like variance in his throws. Like I don't think I saw Julian Sayin have a bad throw all week. There's just in others, there would be kind of ups and downs, peaks and valleys. With him, it's just steady across the board. So I think it was just strong showings every day. He was in probably the top 2 or 3 every day. And I think when you take the full breadth of the week at the Elite 11, he was just the most consistent performer and extremely accurate. A guy who I think the release is so quick and he's on time, hitting receivers in stride. I think that mitigates a little bit for his pure high end arm strength. But his arm strength is good. Now maybe compared to some of the other ones out here, it wasn't like the very best, but I think he has some compensatory skills to where the ball's coming out fast and on time regularly. So really strong showing for Julian Sayin for sure.
How close was Georgia QB commit Dylan Raiola to winning, in your opinion? Was there a big difference between him and Julian Sayin's performance?
It was close. It was very close for me. I think with Raiola, he got better as the week went on. Sayin was probably more consistent each day. Raiola, I think we had Raiola in the middle of the pack the first day, but he was very strong on his pro day and really, I think, had probably the best 7-on-7 session of everyone. Threw 4 touchdowns on the third day. He looked very comfortable in this environment. I think if you're looking at Dylan Raiola moving forward, you have to be really encouraged by what he showed. I think the arm talent is probably the most natural in terms of just the ease in which he can make these difficult throws. He did not have to strain at all. I thought he had good footwork, good timing, accurate. So all in all, Dylan Raiola made it very interesting. And I think this is kind of an eye of the beholder situation. What factors do you consider in naming an MVP? But Dylan Raiola, I thought, had a very encouraging showing at the Elite 11.
Charles, I know you were excited to see Gator quarterback commitment DJ Lagway throw at the event. What were your thoughts on him?
Yeah, DJ Lagway was up and down. I think you have to start off like the physical talent's apparent. This is my first time seeing him in person, so getting to size him up. He's 6'3", 230, big arm, moves well. I think if you're gonna go with the guy in this group that is the most physically developed, like he could put pads on right now and take a beating in a college football game, I think I would pick DJ Lagway. But I think he has room to improve just with his consistency, accuracy, throw to throw. So those are some areas where I think we want to see him continue to progress as a senior and just kind of getting his mechanics down. But there's no question he has a lot of physical ability.
Ohio State quarterback commitment Noland checks in at number 5 on your top performer list. Charles, what were your thoughts on the quarterback commitment to Ohio State?
Yeah, Noland was similar to Julian Sayin. Noland was solid every day. And he comes into this event as the most accomplished and productive quarterback on Friday nights, which for us is really important. So I think for Noland, you just kind of wanted to hold serve and show that your arm talent and a physical ability belonged in this group, because we know what he is on Friday nights, and that's really important for us. But he was accurate. I think he throws with really good timing, good feel. He was able to lead his receivers, and I thought just had a really solid showing across all 3 days.
All right, Charles, let's keep it moving. I want to play a little game. Let's do quarterback superlatives from the event, from the Elite 11. Let's start with best deep ball.
Oh, it's got to be Dylan Raiola for me. And we saw this in the pro day and really in the 7-on-7. He uncorked some beautiful deep balls. He does not have to really load up and put a bunch of energy into his deep ball like a lot of these other guys. It's just a flick of the wrist. Feet don't have to be set. He also throws with really good touch and location on the deep ball as well. So his deep ball for sure stood out.
Most athletic.
TCU commit Haas Haney was extremely athletic, a torqued up, twitched up athlete. This is a guy who's probably 5'11", maybe under 5'11", 185, but he puts his whole body into his throws. And I think when they asked the quarterbacks to kind of get on the move on rollout situations, you could just see he was a different level of athlete and burst than everybody else.
All right, Charles, who had the most upside?
I'm going with Luke Kromenhoek. I think when you lay out just that he's 6'3.5", 190. I think he had easily one of the biggest arms, probably top 2 or 3 arm at this event. Good throwing motion, could throw the ball on a line 35, 40 yards. And then the fact that he has good movement skills at that size as well. I think when you add all of that up, I'm going with Luke Kromenhoek as the highest developmental upside.
From what you saw, who do you think was the most polished quarterback?
I'm going with CJ Carr. CJ Carr is a guy who the Notre Dame commit is one that when you put him in a structured setting, he shines. It's where he's very comfortable operating within structure. In drill work, when it's defined timing and drop back, he's precise and on the money. He was very good in the pro day. I think he came in second in the accuracy challenge. Now he needs to improve when it comes to when things are off schedule, on the move. But when he has just the timing and a defined path for him to go, just very natural in terms of his throwing motion and accuracy and footwork.
All right, Charles, give me the most accurate quarterback at the Elite 11.
I think it has to be Julian Sayin. Like I said before, I'm not sure I saw Julian Sayin have a bad throw all week. What stood out to me was the location and just how he was leading his receivers. They were catching the ball in stride. I remember I watched a station in drill work where they were throwing to a certain point, like kind of in the corner of the end zone, and it was like a ball machine. It was just repeat over and over and over. Almost like a jugs machine, like you would set up to throw at that spot, where a lot of the other guys were kind of, the ball was going to one side, 5 yards over here to the other. Sayin was on the money every time, and it was like that all week. Like it was very impressive. Very, very little variance in his throws.
All right, thank you, Charles, spending a whole lot of time out there in Los Angeles watching the Elite 11. We appreciate all of your intel and feedback from the event. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me, and remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.